Hi everybody, welcome to another edition of Highton Vet Clinic TV. I'm James, one of the vets here at the clinic. Today we're at the back of the clinic in the garden, for those of you who don't know, outside our puppy training centre. Today I'm going to be talking about puppy information, or more specifically, you've got a new puppy and you've brought him to the clinic. That first, touching base with the vets. When you do bring your little puppy in, no doubt you've got your new healthy puppy and you've got all those questions. Hopefully this answers a few of them for you. Some of the puppies will have had a vaccination before. Often that's with the breeders in the age group of about 6 to 8 weeks of age. It's often referred to as a C3 vaccination, and the reason breeders do this is to minimise the risk of parvovirus for the puppies. What we often recommend is if we see the puppies in at 8 weeks of age, we can then start a vaccination protocol which then enables you to get the puppies out and mix with other dogs, which is really good, which is what you want the puppies to do from a young age. Normally at 8 weeks of age, again they'd have their health check. Assuming everything's okay, they would then have a C5 vaccination. The ingredients or the parts of the C5 vaccination are distemper, hepatitis, parvo, and the respiratory diseases. This vaccination is then repeated 4 weeks later at approximately 12 weeks of age. And again, at this point in time, a week after that, it means your puppies can go off exploring the world wide outside. After this, the vaccinations that the dogs would get are generally 12 months later, and that would be their first adult vaccination for those puppies. And normally that's about 15 months of age. Years following that, again, we alternate different parts of the vaccination, as we use a triennial vaccination here at the clinic. Don't stress about that. The vets will go through and explain those as you're moving through it as the puppies get older. Other things, I guess, to touch on this early point would be microchipping. Some of the puppies will arrive already microchipped. Others will have to be microchipped as part of their identification process. If your puppy has already been microchipped, by all means make sure the details have changed across to your name, because if they haven't and the pets go missing, that's when we have issues trying to relocate owners. And having worked with Geelong Animal Welfare, several puppies end up out of the pound on a yearly basis, unfortunately with no owners to contact. There is a website, www.petaddress.com.au, where you can actually log on to it. It tells you which database your pets are registered to. Most of the dogs in Victoria are registered with Central Animal Records, and again you can access that information through the website. Other information I guess we'd be looking at this point in time would be for the puppies would be worms, and we're often referring to gastrointestinal worms, and they're the ones that affect the tummy for the puppies. They can be passed on transplacentally from the mother, and I guess what we're trying to do is minimise that worm burden. So puppies will worm more frequently. As they get older, the frequency decreases as with their risks. We would often recommend Max for the puppies, and you can use it approximately monthly from 12 weeks of age through to 6 months of age, which is done every 3 months. Other things I guess to touch on from that point in time would be fleas and flea prevention. Some puppies may have come with fleas. Again, there's different flea preparations which you can use. And I guess here at the clinic we tend to recommend a couple that work really quite effectively. One would be a tablet called Comfortis. It's a tablet that lasts for a month. Really good for owners who have dogs that like to swim at the beach, or if you, like myself, and have young children, you don't have that residue on the back of the neck. Some of the spot-ons which we find work quite effectively, and the two main ones probably being Revolution and Advocate. They're both doing fleas as some other parasites as well. And again, come and have a chat to staff if you're unsure which flea medication is appropriate for your pet. Other things to touch on, I guess, which is slightly different to your intestinal worms, would be heartworm. Heartworms are a parasite which is spread through mosquito bites. It's not a high incidence in the Victoria area. In a recent study, 11% of the dogs at Sandown and Melbourne tested positive. So we know it's in and about in the community. We often recommend, I guess, if you are starting that program to minimise heartworm prevention, we start a ProHeart injection at approximately 6 months of age, which then ties in with their adult vaccinations. Heartworm itself is a little bit different to gastrointestinal worms. As I mentioned, spread through mosquitoes, ends in the blood system, and the actual worm itself ends up lodging into the heart and ends up being a 30-centimetre worm inside the heart, which may require surgery or medication to actually treat if they get that bad, and they often go into heart failure. So it's all about minimising your risk. Diet's another big one, which a lot of people tend to, I guess, neglect. It's really important at a young age to make sure you get puppies on a really good quality food. The foods I guess we tend to recommend would be Advance, Hills, Eukanuba and Royal Canin, and they're probably your premium brands by far. And again, different growth requirements depending on the age and obviously the breed of the puppy. So your Great Dane definitely has different growth requirements. as compared to a Chihuahua. And again, if you've got any questions, pop into the clinic and the staff will be more than happy to guide you in the right direction. Other things to touch on at this age group, if you've got a healthy puppy, would be pet insurance. We can't recommend, I guess, enough on how much it impacts people's lives when they get a sick pet and goes on to have lifelong treatments. If you do have the financial pressures, by having pet insurance, it's just one less thing to worry about. And by all means, come and have a chat to staff about different policies or how they work, or different programs which they have available. A larger portion of our clients these days are considering pet insurance purely for those reasons, and particularly for the unexpected events which happen. Other things to touch on would be council registration. The Geelong Council actually recommend that their pets are registered from 12 weeks of age, and again, part of that would be they'd be microchipped. They also consider desexing. You actually get a decreased, I guess, fee if they are already desexed for your registration, and again, have a chat to staff about that. Desexing or neutering, we basically would recommend it for most people not intending to breed their pet. What you'd be looking at, I guess, is we start to desex the girl and the boy puppies roughly after they've completed that puppy vaccination, because that would be the earliest we need to see them back. So any time effectively after that 13, 14 weeks of age group, at some point in time after that, we recommend popping them in. Obviously the girls' dogs, they start to come to season from about 7 to 10 months of age. Boy dogs, less of an issue. What we're trying to do is just minimise the dogs wanting to reproduce and also then wandering, getting in dog fights and all those type of things, as well as the other health benefits for neutered pets. Other things which we run here in our puppy training centre would be our puppy training classes. We have a dog trainer who goes through. It's a 6-week course. A lot of people have a lot of positive feedback about that. And again, from that side of things, if you're interested, have a chat to the reception staff or the nurses, and they should be able to advise you when the next group are due to start. If there are any other questions you had and we haven't covered them today, feel free to log on to our website, www.hightonvet.com.au. We have a puppy section there which actually goes through the links and it has more advice. Alternatively, if you haven't downloaded our mobile phone app, the Highton Vet Clinic app, there's other puppy stuff on that for you as well. Well, I hope that's been of help for you today. I really hope you enjoy your new puppy. Again, thank you for joining us today, and no doubt we'll speak to you soon. Thanks.